All right, welcome back to Flyin Miata. I'm Brandon. Today we're going to go over the installation of our LED side markers for the ND and for the NA/NB. Okay, so we're going to start on the rear here. I have prepped it a little bit, so there's a Phillips head screw in the back right here. So it's pointing right about here inside of the bumper cover, of course. You do need to remove that first, and then what we're going to do is reach up inside. We're going to depress this spring tab right here, roll it forward, and then we'll pull it out because this tab is going to hold it on the bottom. So this is probably going to be more easily done if you're on a creeper on your back and you can reach up in there, but I'll see if I can awkwardly reach up. Okay, so we got it out, and you can see the spring tab is right there. Kind of weave it out a little bit. You've got to deal with the plug right here, and then that. So what you want to do, don't actually worry about undoing this plug. Just quarter turn, and that comes out. Yes, it's missing a bulb. We might have reinstalled this just for the video. Make sure that you match your wire colors, because you can put this in backwards, and if you put it in backwards, it won't work. So there's a black wire, and there's going to be an other color wire on the different guys, on the different plugs. Make sure you line it up. That just goes in as if it were a bulb. Put it in here. Again, quarter turn. Wire's a little short, so it's a little tight. And then that, again, you've got the tab on the bottom, drops in, spring tab on the top, pops in, and that's it. The screw on the back, honestly, I don't really think you need, so it's kind of your call if you want to put that back in or not. We need to take the fender liner off just in a couple of spots. There's one fastener here, one fastener here. We may have giant tires on this car, so it's kind of abused its fender liners. These fasteners, you may have seen them in some of our other videos, but you pull out the center section just that far, and then you pull the entire thing out of the fender liner. Super easy as long as you know how to do it. So I've taken these two out. I'm going to pull it back. There's a screw you need to make sure to take off. All right, so that's your screw right there that you're going to need to take off. And I've kind of cheated a little bit, so that one's mostly taken off, so we got that guy out. This is what we're looking at on the inside. So there's a tab here, there's a spring tab here. It's the same thing as the rear. So I'm going to reach in here, push down on the top. That's just going to roll right out. And then we disengage that. Again, same thing on the rear. Quarter turn, take it out, plug this in. So you can see it's green on the back here, or on the front here. But make sure you line up the two black wires, and then the red just goes with the other color. Plug it in, make sure it's all the way in there. Quarter turn, drop it in, click it in. If you want to put the screw in, you can. It's not going anywhere. So your call there. Fender liner, fasteners back in place, and you're done. Okay, so that's the installation of the ND. You can see we've got them on. They are super bright. For what it's worth, the smoke ones are a little bit dimmer. They're still pretty bright, but a little bit dimmer. So we'll move on to the NA now. The NA and the NB are basically the same. The NB, the rears actually aren't powered on the US cars. So that's something to consider. You'll need to wire that in. We'll give you more details on that. So these are super easy. 2 screws on either end. All right, so it just pulls right out. Quarter turn, unscrew to get it out. Yes, we've already removed the bulb in this one as well. So these are identical. One of these is front, one of these is rear, but there's no way to tell which one is which until you plug it in, if your packaging isn't labeled. So just plug it in real quick. The orientation of the wires doesn't matter. It'll go either way. All right, so that's our rear. That's red, so that's rear. And then this guy is orange, so he goes on the front. So we're gonna plug this guy into the bulb socket. The orientation actually doesn't matter. It'll work and fit in either direction. So push that guy in there, make sure he's all the way in, and got to line up your tabs here. It'll only fit in one direction. It's a little weird because you actually have to unscrew it to tighten it. Go figure, but push down a little bit to control, or excuse me, to compress that O-ring. Unscrew it that way, and then that'll tighten that guy in. So put it in there, tighten your screws. I like to get them both started before I get them tight. Not real critical here, but old habits die hard. And there we go, we're done with the rear. So let's move on to the front. The front is really the same thing, but a different color. So a screw on either end, unscrew them. You don't actually have to remove them completely from the reflector, but you do have to remove it far enough to get it out of the bumper. So there we go. So again, quarter turn. We have already removed the bumper, or excuse me, the bulb on this one as well. We've got our R. If you can see it there, again, thicker side goes to the top, thinner side goes to the bottom. It's not quite as dramatic of a difference on the front. So we're just going to push this guy into the bulb socket. Again, the wire orientation makes no difference, and we have double checked to make sure that this is our amber. So we're going to push this guy in, kind of feed the wires in, and again, that is a left turn, left twist. So unscrew it to tighten it. So a difficulty you guys might have, these little metal clips, this is what it's actually threading into, and you can see how they're not very tight, so they wobble around a bit. So you may run into a situation where it's not lining up. So I'm going to run the screws in a little ways, see if I can kind of jiggle things around to get them started. And we'll see if I was successful. You can also actually just reach around and get it started that way. All right, there we go. That guy started. Let's see if this one's going to argue with me. Sounds like yes, but eventually we'll get it to behave. Okay, you don't want to over tighten these. It is possible to split the plastic housing. You'd have to try, but still, it is possible. So there you go. That's all installed. Do the other side and we're done. All right, so real quickly, we want to show you guys what the smokes look like. They're a little bit dimmer than the clear ones, for better or worse. They're still very bright, definitely brighter than the stock ones. So we've got the stock guy here, so you can kind of see the color. You can see what it looks like off. It's basically invisible, so it doesn't mess up your lines, your pretty colors and all that good stuff. And then still comes on nice and bright when it's on. The rear, obviously, when it's off, looks the same as the front. Turn it off real quick. And then bright, or on, it's again very bright, but red in the rear, amber in the front. Okay, so there you go. They're all installed. We've got the ND in, we've got the NA in. Again, the NB is basically the same thing. No ballast resistors, just simple plug and play. Doesn't get a whole lot easier than that. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for our next video.